What's up, everybody? This is Truth Trekker, back with another video. And the topic of this one is vitiligo. And vitiligo is a disease that causes depigmentation of the skin. And all the people that you see on the screen here are all affected by vitiligo. Doesn't matter how dark you are, doesn't matter how light you are. Doesn't mean if you're medium tone, you could be affected by vitiligo and depigment. And vitiligo is not unknown to people. There's a commercial on television funded by a pharmaceutical company offering cream that you rub on your skin to bring back the pigment, allegedly. There's vitiligo models. There's vitiligo characters that are injected into video games by the corporations that produce these games. Here's one with a pentagram earrings. And vitiligo is a chronic autoimmune disorder that causes patches of skin to lose pigment or color. Chronic means it doesn't go away, and we know from looking at the pictures that the patches get as big as they want to be. So the question that I'm raising with this video is, where do white people come from? Or where does anybody else come from? You see, the sun in the sea changes color, but the sun in the sea does not change. The origin of the human race is Africa. The human race began in Africa. And even me saying Africa, that's a lie. Because Africa is not the original name. The original name of Africa is Alkebulan. And Alkebulan means the Garden of Eden or the mother of mankind. Now, my parents sent me to school, and I had to go to Catholic grade school and Catholic high school and Catholic college. They gave us Bible lessons and we had to go to confirmation class and all kinds of stuff. And never once was it ever mentioned that the mother of mankind, or this Garden of Eden that's spoke about in the Bible, is in Africa. And it used to be called Alkebulan. It used to be called Alkebulan before the continent had been colonized by the Europeans. So let's be clear on what colonization is. Colonization is the action or process of settling among and establishing control over the indigenous people of an area. Colonization is the action or process of settling among and establishing control over the indigenous people of an area. Second definition, the action of appropriating a place or domain for one's use. Appropriating means to take something for one's own use, typically without the owner's permission. Sounds familiar? Now back to vitiligo. Medical science has no answers to it. The cause of vitiligo, they'll tell you, is unknown. But it may be related to immune system changes, genetic factors, stress. They like to blame everything on stress, and then that's all they do all day is give you stress. Or sun exposure. That's a joke. In the history of humankind, anytime somebody has gone out in the sun for any extended period of time, their skin becomes darker. That's because sunlight triggers melanin production, and melanin is responsible for the pigment of the skin. So the human race began in Africa. They migrated out throughout the earth, and when they migrated out, They lost that intense sunlight, Africa hot sunlight, that was pigmenting their skin to such a degree. So, if they move from, say, Africa to Alaska, how many generations would have to live in Alaska with no sun or very little sun, very weak sun, before they lose the color of their skin or the pigment? Because there's just nothing to produce the melanin, which produces the color. So basically, what happened is the human race began in Africa, Alkebulan, and when they moved, you know, throughout the geographical area, when they moved to different regions of the earth, they could not get the same sunlight as they were getting in Africa. So gradually, or with vitiligo, accelerated a depigmentation process. So there's only one race on the face of this earth, and that's the human race. We've been divided by skin tone. Still. Still we're divided by skin tone. Oh, stop racism, end racism. There's no racism. There's only culturalism. There's only the lies religion has taught their different sects to pit them against each other. You know, to ultimately lead them to death or have them kill each other. You know, that's the object of religion. Religion contains the belief in death. Thanks, Mike Page. And so, people have no idea who they are. And proof of that is people will take a chunk of themselves and then take a chunk of money and mail it to a corporation, which is funded by the government, or they don't get a license to do business. And they'll ask the corporation to take a look at their DNA and please tell them who they are, because they don't know. They have no idea, or they wouldn't be paying and taking a part of themselves and sending it in. That's silly. Why would you do that? Because they don't know. They're living in ignorance. They think they know, but they don't know. And global genealogy products and services market was valued at $3.5 billion US in 2022. It's expected to rise to, this doesn't say it, but it's expected to rise to 10.13 billion by 2032. Let me just see if I get that for you real quick. There you go. 3.5 billion in 2022, expected to rise to 10.13 billion US dollars by 2023, because people don't know who they are and they're trying to pay to find out. Well, here I am providing you the information for free. Are you ready to accept the truth? There is no black. The color of a television screen, when you turn it off, that's black. Ain't nobody black. The background of this web page or a sheet of paper is white. Ain't nobody white. Even the palest albino is not white as this background of the web page or a sheet of paper. Only slaves are colorable. And so it's interesting to note, when the so-called founding fathers came here to colonize America, and then let's just get clear. Well, we know about colonization, the appropriation of lands for one's own use and making slaves out of the people. They put them on plantations, and they had them, pick cotton and do whatever else they were told, or they got a bullwhip up their ass. And it's, like I said, it's interesting to note that the founding slave masters, they didn't say, "Hey, let's get these red men on the plantation. They're here already. Let's get." No, they went to Africa and got as close as they could to the original human being that nature created and made slaves out of them. And now supposedly they want you to send you their DNA and some money so they can tell you who they are, or tell you who you are. And so that's basically it. All our families, and I mean everybody on the face of the earth, their earliest heritage, their earliest ancestry is Africa. And if you moved out from Africa and you're not getting that sun, you're going to depigment because there's no sunlight, or not powerful enough sunlight to pigment the skin to the degree of the African. And so, just to prove my point, the symptoms of vitiligo, there's one symptom: patches of white skin. When we click on the hyperlink for white skin, because, they told me I was white growing up, white skin redirects to depigmentation. Depigmentation is the lightening of the skin or loss of pigment. So white people, Puerto Rican people, Chinese people, people that aren't melanated like an African, they weren't dropped from the sky. They migrated out of Africa originally, and generation after generation after generation, they lost their pigment. Depigmentation of the skin can be caused by a number of local and systemic conditions. The pigment loss can be partial or complete, as if caused by vitiligo. So I'm here to confidently tell you that every one of us has vitiligo in one way or another, except for maybe Mike Page. But these are the lies that we were conditioned with. That there's black, white, the Asians, the yellow man, the natives, the red man. There's no colors. There's no colors. Right now there's human beings on the face. All the human beings on the face of the earth are in various stages of depigmentation, and if their features are different, that's because their bodies have only adapted to the region in which they settled. And that's scientific fact. So I don't know what else to tell you on this. Any halfway intelligent human being should be able to pick up on this right away. And that people see vitiligo commercials on TV, they see vitiligo models. Oh, here I see somebody in front of me, he's so-called half black and so-called half white. So does the Black Lives Matter movement say, oh, well, only half his life matters because he's kind of half white? I mean, come on. This is the ridiculous stupidity that, people are living with every day. So that's where I'm going to leave it off. We're coming up on, about how long I want this video to run. So, I hope this helped you out a little bit. The human race is all one. We've been divided by the ruling class, so they can maintain power over us. Just like they colonized everywhere they went. They made slaves out of everybody. That's the dude. They made slaves out of everybody. They give everybody a nationality, everybody a language, everybody a culture, and everybody a religion. So all the religions are made up, all the races are made up, all the nations are made up. It's all made up. It's all made up to make you a slave, keep you in ignorance, so that you fund their nice lifestyle, and, the end result of that is death for everybody. So unless we wise up, same thing's going to keep happening. And I mean, they're laughing at you. I could explain this to a child and they would understand. Oh, okay. Yeah, a child would understand it. All right. Well, this is Truth Trekker. That's my video for the year. I hope this helped you out. I hope you gained a little from it. And, hey, listen, I wish peace and love to all my brothers and sisters. What I'm going to do is I'm going to outro with the intro of a video I posted back in 3 years ago, 2021. The origin of white people in the human race, which basically describes with an illustration what I talk to you about now. Peace.
So by checking the DNA of people living today, we find those with the same genetic markers. This map shows the distribution of men with a marker on their Y chromosome called M130. We can wind this film backwards and follow the migration route they took, which was the first complete one out of Africa around 60,000 years ago. That was the basis for the study conducted by Spencer Wells and others in 2000, which involved collecting DNA samples from indigenous people all over the world.